Now being joined in studio by Brigadier General Reserve Israel Relik Shafir, former commander of Tel Nof Air Force Base, former combat pilot in the Israeli Air Force, just an overall experienced guy that has a lot of information to help explain to our viewers. Thank you for joining us in the studio. Obviously a lot going on today, and I want to start. We're seeing, obviously, actually you came in yesterday and you, in a sense, not predicted, but you felt something was going to happen and that this ceasefire was going to be broken. What gave you that impression enough to say that publicly yesterday or day before yesterday?
I think if we understand where Hamas is going, then we can understand what their actions are and what they're looking for. Generally, they're looking for a truce, and they're looking to pay as little as possible for the October 7th massacre. So along these lines, if they can still hold the cards of the Israeli troops and men in lieu of the prisoners and reaching a truce or some kind of what they call a hudna, which is a total ceasefire, that's what they're vying for. And so if they release more hostages at this time, they're putting down their cards, and they don't feel that they have been hit hard enough in order to advance that. They're also looking at the international scene, hoping that Israel will make a mistake, maybe strike a large number of civilians, something that will change the dynamics of what is happening. It hasn't happened so far in those 57 days or so. And so they are looking to keep as much as they can and pay as little as they can. 2 million people south of Gaza. They know that the international community is pressing Israel not to operate the way we have in the north. And these are some of the cards that they have and they're playing with.
So also, we know what happened yesterday. We also know that we're dropping leaflets, and this time we've taken it up a notch with very high-tech Israeli technology, so people could scan a QR code with exact directions based on where they live to get out to safety. We know that the terrorists prevent many of their civilians from leaving. We know the court of public opinion then will take a headline that we are intentionally killing innocent Gaza civilians, even though they've been warned. Can you tell us, as somebody from the Air Force, how exact are the targets? And we're seeing lots of plumes of smoke. What is that? Can you tell the difference on what kind of bomb is being dropped based on the smoke that we're seeing live on our screen?
Yes, the less smoke there is, that means that the bomb is planned to go deeper. The pilot in the cockpit and
Here's some live images now, not quite as black smoke as before.
Prior to that, it is planned for different possibilities for the pilot to choose. So if you want to strike a tunnel, which is, let's say, 30 meters below ground, you want the bomb to explode deep. And therefore, the plume that you see outside is very small, because the diameter that the bomb makes when it goes in is probably something like this, 2 feet at most. It'll just go in and explode down, and then the pressure wave will run in the tunnel and can kill anybody in there, et cetera, et cetera. So the amount of plume that you see does not tell you how large the bomb is, because it depends on the depth. If you hit a building, obviously you want to hit it in order for it to collapse, either by exploding when it hits it, or maybe a very, very short time, a couple of milliseconds, so that you destroy the substructure of the building. So these are all considerations. And also, if you want to prevent collateral damage, then you'd probably want the bombs to be very small. This is why the unmanned vehicles, they carry small amount of munition, of explosives, so that they hit either anti-personnel or a vehicle. They can't take down a building. So it really depends on where you want to go, what the scenario is. Obviously, in the southern part of Gaza, we want to refrain from killing civilians and bystanders. So we wouldn't use large bombs, and we would go down deep to hit the tunnels.
So just other proof from the sources that we're doing everything we can. The IDF is doing everything that it can to minimize civilian casualties. We're going to return with you in a second. I'm going to read one other story. Houthi fighters recruited to back up Hamas in the conflict with Israel actually paraded through the Yemenite capital of Sana'a today before they say they're heading to the Gaza Strip. We have video showing these new military recruits marching through the streets. Do we have that video? They are apparently armed with rifles and waving Palestinian flags. Guess we don't have that video, but here's more.
On this great day, the Yemeni people affirmed their readiness, as Said, may God protect him, said, "Open the path for us, and you will find that the Yemeni people, in hundreds of thousands, are ready to move towards defending the noble Al-Aqsa Mosque and joining their brothers, the Mujahideen, in Palestine." These crowds demonstrate the readiness of the Yemeni people and their awareness and concern for the central cause of the Islamic nation.
Okay, so it sounds a little bit unrealistic that these fighters could get from Yemen to Gaza just like that. We know when the Yemenite Jews came to Israel, it was, not just walking over to Israel. How is that possible?
While you were watching how they were going with rifles, I was looking at their feet.
Oh.
And they were wearing sandals and sneakers. That means they're not real army. They were dressed up a little bit, but they didn't pay for the shoes. You take a look.
Yeah,
at
it's a long way, even with the right shoes.
Not only a long way, but these are people who are untrained as soldiers. So it's more of a show off for the public, either internal public or.
So are these people a real threat to Israel? I mean, is this something that needs to be taken seriously in the sense of it being an existential threat?
Well,
more people from more countries wanting to kill us.
This is a PR stunt that the Yemenis have a quarrel with the Saudis. So this is all part of the way the Iranians are playing the Houthis. And this is an opportunity for them to snag at the Saudis to show that even the Yemenites are taking part. So it's more of an internal conflict, Arab conflict, I would think.
Right. Also, with Antony Blinken coming here and really kind of pushing Israel to have caution to wrap this up within 2 months, as somebody who is an Air Force professional, is it realistic for Israel to be able to finish what it needs to do in less than 2 months?
The problem is as such. It is possible, but the collateral damage would be much greater, the more aggressive we are, the more we hit targets without making sure that there is minimal collateral damage. So it's not a question of whether we can do it, but whether we want to pay the price as far as collateral damage and international backing. That's on one side. The other side is the ground forces. The less cautious they are, maybe over-aggressive, the more fatalities we will see. So the commanders and the decision makers have these coefficients to play with. If we have 2 months and we want to complete the situation, there's going to be a lot of collateral damage and more fatalities on our side. That's on that side. There is always a trump card that we will cut off the southern part of Gaza. In the Rafah area, the Egyptians don't like it, but if we cut off, let's say, 2 kilometers, we'll be able to stop the tunnels through which they are still passing all kinds of things from the Sinai into Gaza. And for the future, this is the way we can control what goes in and make sure that only things that we check at the Rafah crossings are not something that they are bringing underground. So there are all kinds of things to consider before we go into the bad weather that will have an effect on both sides. Maybe the tunnel system cannot withstand continuous rain.
Right. So
because
there could
they
be
need to drain out. Yes, there are all kinds.
Help
yes,
ameliorate the
and also we can also help the water flowing into those tunnels. So I would say that there are a lot of cards on hand, and the decision makers have to choose to make sure that they can complete the mission.
All right. Thank you. As always, it's good to see you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.